Hi, it's Danny. Welcome to this video, welcome to this channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. Deep gratitude to you for joining me today. So what are we doing today? We are here to talk about It, Welcome to Derry, Season 1, Episode 6, In the Name of the Father. Oh, I love a good Christian reference. Anyhow, the opening scene is in black and white. We are at Juniper Hill, the mental institution in Derry, and the date was 1935. Ingrid, looking the exact same way she looks now. What the hell? No, she didn't look the same. It was a different actress. But we see Ingrid as a nurse taking a little girl down the stairs. Little girl, whose name is Mabel, says, I don't want to go. I don't want to go into the basement. I want to do this. But Ingrid's like, oh, don't worry. Let's go down anyway. And she asks Mabel about the clown that asked to meet him in this basement. And so as they're walking through the basement, they stop, and at the doorway, they see a red balloon pass by. And as they're looking at this red balloon, Mabel tries to get away. Ingrid grabs her hand and tries to stop her. A hand grabs the balloon string, and then out steps Pennywise. We get the intro, obviously that creepy ass intro. The next scene is Leroy yelling at Will about being in the sewer. Charlotte interrupts because Leroy is getting super aggro, and Leroy tells Charlotte, like, you don't understand, you weren't there. This thing can get in your head. Will's like, I know that too. We've been facing this too. This is affecting us too. Leroy's like, you ain't going anywhere. You're not leaving this house. You're not doing a thing. And Will looks at his dad and says no. Will also says, you told me not to hide from trouble. And Leroy's like, well, you're not me. Will says, you're right. Well, I wouldn't let my friends die. And don't you know, Leroy did the 5 fingers to the face and just mollywopped him, spun him to the ground. And Charlotte's like, what the fuck, dude? And Will runs out. We see Will pedaling off the base. And then we also, as he's zooming away from the base, we see pictures of Hank as a fugitive all over town. All the white people are super upset. Like, they are drinking in the streets, holding shop, looking for Hank. Now, why would you be on Main Street drinking if you're looking for a fugitive? Did he go to the liquor store on the way to go look for Hank? And he's just like, let me take a swig of this. Well, like, what is happening? Next scene, Ronnie's at the tower looking at the wanted poster while all the kids are huddled around Lily. She's showing them the dagger and how the creature was afraid of it. They try to look at it or touch it, and Lily's like, no, you can look, but you can't touch. I'm like, what is this, Nikki Bella? Like, what is happening? You can look, but you can't touch. Okay, I'm sorry. She's on some My Precious, okay? She's on some Gollum. She's like, my precious, you can't touch my precious. And then she starts talking about a plan. Like, we could use this to go back into the sewer and kill it. And at this point, Ronnie, she's had it up to here with old girl. She turns around, she's like, you're crazy if you think we should go back there. We saw someone die. We almost got killed. Are you kidding me? You're crazy. They should have never let you get out of Juniper Hill. And Lily is aggro back. Like, she is just like, well, I wish I never helped you. I wish I never tried to, like, assist you. I wish I never went to your house. And Ronnie's like, yeah, it's your fault all this happens. Your fault Maddie's gone and your friends are gone because y'all wanted to go exploring and figure this out. And she's like, well, you weren't in the room when they died. So, like, they were going back and forth. It was so messed up. They, like, Rich tried to stop them. Ronnie calls Lily crazy and leaves. Will follows and says, I'm going to try to calm her down. When Rich and Margie tries to, like, console her, she's like, I just want to be left alone. In the next scene, we're at the black spot. Halloran comes through, want to get this drink on and pass out in the back. The airmen are talking about, like, we're going to throw a big ass party tomorrow. And Halloran is not paying it any mind because all he's seeing around him are dead people. He also points out that the floorboards are rotting underneath the fridge. Next scene, Ronnie is venting to Will about how Lily's crazy and her plan is crazy. She's like, was I too hard on her? And Will, and this is how you know Will really likes her, he tells her the truth. He's like, yeah, Heffa, you were mean. He didn't say it like that, but he was just like, you're a little rough, but I understand. And she's just like, I'm tired of being scared. And Ronnie hugs him, and then they have this moment, and it looks like they're about to kiss. Honk honk, there goes old Charlotte cock blocking stuff. I mean, But no, she interrupts them and she's just like, both of you get in the car. And she's like, you think you're grown? We go back to the black spot. Halloran tries to grab his drink and go to the back to fall asleep. The airmen kind of stop him and say, yeah, we're hiding Hank here. And Dick's like, no, this is not a good idea. And the airmen are like, well, Charlotte asked us and Hank was begging, we couldn't turn them away. And Dick's like, I don't need this shit right now. He tries to walk off, but then Charlotte comes through and reunite Ronnie and Hank, and they're just having this loving, tender moment while Charlotte and Will are watching Ronnie and Hank reunite. Charlotte asks Will, like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about what happened? And Will doesn't say anything. The next scene is Margie trying to fix her bandage. She thought she was alone, and suddenly she hears Rich behind her. She's like, what are you doing here? And he's just like, well, I've been trying to get the plane to Main Street. He offers, she's like, well, I have to, change my bandage and dress my wounds. Rich is like, let me help you. And she's just like, no, it's gross. He's like, I've done worse. To take off the bandage, he licks his hand. Rich takes the bandage off and he sees the wound, and he's just mesmerized by it. And she's like, it's horrible, right? He's like, no, it's the coolest thing he's ever seen. And she gets freaked out and she's like, I can do the rest by myself. And they kind of talk about the fight and how everything's messed up. And Rich is like, I think it's the thing getting to us. That's what it wants. It wants us to be separated. We have to do this together. We should go try to convince Ronnie to come join us to follow Lily's plan. It can't hurt. And he's like, because the artifact might be able to help us. And Rich ends up helping her put the bandage back on. After he does that, he grabs the plane and tries to throw it over to Main Street. And of course it goes to the sewer, because we know who's really watching. Next scene is Dick is drinking. He's drinking because he sees a lot of dead people. He's in his room on base by himself, and Leroy comes through, asks him where has he been, and Dick is like, you want a drink? And he offers him a bottle, and Leroy's like, nah, Sway, new orders are in, and what's going on with you? Dick's like, I am seeing dead people. And Leroy asks him like, well, tell me about it. How are you seeing dead people? Halloran talks to him about his gift, that his grandmother had it, and she taught him how to lock this thing away. And mind you, he said her gift wasn't as strong as his. He closed the box at 9 years old. Yeah, it was the faux pas, that the fake grandpa that opened it. And he's like, the dead will wander where they died, but as long as he doesn't acknowledge them, doesn't talk to them, they leave him alone. So Leroy still persists in asking questions, and Dick's like, did you hear what I said? I'm being haunted. This thing won. I'm done with it. Leroy's like, well, we need to get this taken care of. We have orders, we have a mission. Dick is like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about it. What if I continue to pursue this thing and everything gets worse? And Leroy's like, well, we could just put it all back when you're done with the mission. And he's like, oh, really? You could do that? You know how to close the box after it's been open? You know how to do that? Tell me how to do that, man. Like, it was getting real combative and disrespectful. And Leroy's like, hey, bro, I'm still your superior officer. And Dick's like, you a brown noser, you a bootlicker. And he's getting real disrespectful with it. And Leroy's like, yo, don't talk to me like that. I'm your boss. And Dick's like, I don't give a fuck. Get out. He kicks his superior officer out, which you can't do. That's on some clank clank. You will get clank clanked for that type of stuff. Leroy realizes that oh boy does not care, and he just Leroy goes back home. He walks in on Charlotte packing bags, and he's like, where's Will? And she's like, he's with his friends. He's just like, what? And Charlotte's like, you hit him. You messed up. Leroy's like, I was messed up in the head. I just saw my friend die. And she goes to hug him because it is sad that he lost his right-hand man. He says he's sorry, but then he goes on this tangent about saving his country and his sworn duty. And Charlotte's like, boy, what? F your sworn duty. She walks away. She starts packing. She's like, they're in danger. You put us in danger trying to protect your country. So you gotta pick. It's either us or your country. Oh, by the way, Hank's at the black spot. And she doesn't care if he's mad. She's gonna go make sure he's okay. He gets to Canada safely. And then her and Will are gonna go back to the South where they belong. You could come with us or you could stay here. He says he can't do that. He can't abandon ship. And she's like, I don't care. You have to make it right with your child. Next scene, Lily is in the classroom and she hears it's Pennywise's voice in her head. over and over again, and she is zoned all the way out. You could hear the class going on in session. People are starting to open her desk. When she comes to, she also opens her desk. Mind you, she had the shard in her lap. The pickle thing pops out of her desk. She screams, drops the shard, thing disappears, and the racist teacher yells at her, and Lily just runs out of the room, of course, with her little dagger. The next scene, they're in the cafeteria, Rich and Marge, and Rich is letting Marge know that Ronnie is at the black spot with her dad, and that's why she's not in class today. The plan is to go to the black spot after school to make her change her mind, because both of them heard voices in the pipes the night before, and Rich lets it slip that he avoided the bathroom all night, and yeah, I really needed to go, and then he stopped himself because he realized he was about to tell her that he was peeing in a jar, and she's like, tell me. And he's just like, no, it's weird, it's disgusting. She's like, come on, man, you saw my disgusting oozing eye, you're one of the few people, be vulnerable with me. And so he's just like, yeah, I peed in a jar and emptied it out in the morning. She's just like, well, knights had chamber pot, and knights did really cool things like rescue maidens, and Rich is like, oh, that's awesome, like I really like that, I could be a knight. And then he pulls out eye patch. She's like, oh, I found this, and he hands it to her, and Marge is like, oh, I love it, I've always wanted to be a pirate. Like, when she's not trying to butter up, when she's not in the teenage ecosystem, she's amazing. She's a cool nerdy chick who wants to be a pirate. Who doesn't want to be a pirate? So she's a pirate and he's a knight. That's what they're gonna be for Halloween. Marge is like, it's a date, and Rich is like, oh, and Marge is like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. He's like, oh, like it was so cute. It's a date and they get awkward with it. The plastic patty cakes come through. They accuse Lily of stabbing her. Margie's like, that's not what happened. So are you gonna sit with Ricky Ricardo here? They're pointing to Rich. Or are you gonna hang out with us and talk to us about what happened? Are you gonna stay with the freaks right in front of Rich? Margie's like looking at them, looking at the patty cakes, and she's like, well, guess what? I am a freak. And she pulls off the eye patch or the bandage, and she shows her scar, and she growls at them and snarls at them, and one of them vomits. And it's so cool. And she sits down and puts like a french fry in her mouth proudly, and Rich is like in love, and it's so cute. It's so cute. Will, Rich, and Marge pedal to the black spot. The party is on in the clubhouse. Will knocks on the door and they go in. Next scene, we see Lily pedaling to Ingrid's house. As she knocks on the front door, she looks over to her left, and there's this creepy dude smiling at her, giving her that creepy Pennywise smile. The door is open and she kind of just walks into people's homes. Like, so if you see a front door open, you walk in. If a door that's supposed to be locked is open, I call the cops. That's me, but we digress. She walks in, she hears music coming from the attic, she goes upstairs, and then she starts going through their things. She starts flipping through a photo album. She sees pictures of young Ingrid. She sees a picture of young Ingrid and a picture of a man who looks like Pennywise without the makeup, and she's just looking at it. And then suddenly from the back of Lily looking at this book, you see Ingrid's head pop up as she like comes up the stairs. Ingrid floats up, asks Lily if she's okay. Ingrid's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, the door's open, I'm sorry. But so she starts telling her about the tunnels, and Ingrid's like, oh, my poor girl, and they hugging. And as they're hugging, Lily looks over and she sees a picture of Pennywise, but it's not Pennywise. It's a picture of Ingrid's dad dressed as the clown Pennywise. She starts putting two and two together. The man in the photo album without the makeup is the same man in the Pennywise costume. Lily is freaking out, and Ingrid looks behind her and notices that Lily notices the picture of her dad in the Pennywise costume, and she's just like, you saw him? You saw him. Oh, you did it. You sweet girl, you did it. She's all gassed. She's super happy. And Lily is freaking more and more out. Ingrid's like giving Lily kudos, like, of course it was you. Of course it was you that made him happen. Then Lily notices a 3-point clown wig in the corner, which was the same shape of the clown that they captured in the pictures when they first went to the cemetery together as a group. Lily doesn't know this, but it's the same 3-point clown situation that Will saw outside his house. Lily kind of asks it, but she also says it, you followed us? And Ingrid's like, yes, because I wanted to see him. And Lily's like, why though? And she's just like, but you should understand missing your dad, because I miss my dad. I want to see my dad. She was like saying that they took her dad when she was little and she stayed behind when the circus left. And then suddenly we see black and white flashback. It's the 1930s. Ingrid overhears the little girl talking about the clown, and this is young Ingrid doing her shift. As she's passing by, she hears the little girl Mabel talk about seeing a clown. The doctors dismiss it, give the little girl her medicine. Ingrid and the little girl Mabel Mabel make eye contact. So fast forward, Ingrid brings him to the basement. We see pretty much the continuum for the first scene in the episode. So we see the clown walk through the door frame. There's a whole bunch of steam. Pennywise pops through. He's like, hello, Mabel. Gives her the balloon. Mabel kind of takes it, and then he tilts his head. He starts to drool, and he looks up, and I see you brought a friend. And suddenly it just switched. Mabel and young Ingrid start running. They start running away. The clown starts chasing them, and of course Mabel falls. Ingrid gets to another side of a secure door. The door closes, and the little girl is screaming for help, and she puts her hands underneath the door. Ingrid tries to comfort her. We hear Pennywise giggling and laughing and mocking. All you hear is chomp 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 after the laughter, and you see like a pool of Ingrid is crying. When she gets up to look through the glass window, her dad appears. Her dad without the clown makeup, and he says he misses her, and he tells her to open the door, which she does, stepping through Mabel's blood. It's like Ingrid's in a trance. So flash forward to the present day, Ingrid's crying and saying it was her dad, but it wasn't her dad, it was different. The shadow would steal him, but then she had access to experience him even though the shadow was within him, and she just wants to appear in front of her dad again. She wants to be Periwinkle in front of her dad, which is why she's walking around town in this costume. Lily asks, please don't hurt me. Ingrid's, I would never. And Lily's like, please don't hurt my friends. And Ingrid's like, well, some eggs have to be broken to make an omelet. Like, she's like, your friends have to go because I need to see my dad. I got my daddy issues. I gotta work these things out. And Lily, as Ingrid's trying to reach out for her, Lily just with the dagger cuts Ingrid in the hand. Ingrid tries to grab at her, touching at her back, and all we see is Lily biking for dear life, screaming into the ether. Now, if you are worried about getting thrown into Juniper Hill, this is not the way, my dear. We see Will and Rich and Margie trying to convince Ronnie that they have to go do this plan to get rid of the creature, and Ronnie's like, I'm not doing anything until my dad's safe. She storms off, as she does. Will goes to talk to her, and Rich and Margie's like, should we leave the black spot? And Rich is like, nah, I'm feeling it. Will tries to convince Ronnie to go into the sewer, and Hank intervenes doing his dad thing, and he says like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And then he starts interviewing Will, and he's like, well, you have a new gentleman friend, and Ronnie's like, stop. And his first question to Will is a great question. He's like, what's your favorite movie? And I already knew what he was gonna say. So the next scene, the white men who are drinking and carrying shotguns in the middle of the street are at the bar drinking some more with guns, and they're trying to think about all the places that Hank could be. Bowers comes through, and he says that a lady called in with a tip about where Hank is. And the crowd's like, oh yeah, bet, where is he? And Bowers like, well, I'm not gonna share because I can't even give him a ticket now. I can't arrest him because I have to clean out my desk. I was fired. And they're like, so what do you want to do? Why did you come through with to brag about having this information if you don't want to like arrest him? And then you see him sip his beer. The next scene, we see Dick spinning out, hearing voices during the party, seeing people smiling and dancing, and seeing dead people walk through is bugging him out. He's spaced out. Rich and Margie ask for 2 Cokes. They are watching people grind on each other. They are making love on that dance floor. I tell you what, the bartender hands them the Cokes, and they drink it. They're like, ugh, there's something wrong with this Coke. And the guy's like, yeah, it's Air Force Coke. I'm like, boy, I know you not feeding underage children alcohol. He's like, these are Air Force Cokes. That's the taste of freedom, son. He's not right for that. Rich is like, freedom tastes weird. Next scene, we see Will answer Hank's question, which is War of the Worlds, which I knew he would say that because he's a sci-fi guy. And Hank also says that's a great answer. And Hank asks Will to protect Ronnie, and he doesn't want anything happening to his baby girl. And Will's like, not on my watch. Nothing's gonna happen to you or your daughter, sir. Will steps out of the room. Rich and Margie talk because Ronnie's not gonna come with. And while they're trying to talk about what they're gonna do next to get rid of the creature, one of the airmen comes up and he's just like, our boy, our drummer is kind of like, grr, grr, grr. So could you play? Because he had his drumsticks in his pocket. And so Rich is like, yeah, bet. So he whips out his, like, it's such a cute scene. It's a vibe. Everyone's dancing, smoking, slapping butts. Margie is drinking her Air Force Coke. Rich is doing his thing. The only downer is Halloran in the background drinking, like drinking to escape. But everything else is a great time. We see Ingrid with the bloody hand dressing herself up as Periwinkle. So we know she's getting ready to see her old daddy. Next scene is a couple outside flirting. A bunch of cars roll through and kind of pretty much blind them with their lights. And the girl's like, were you expecting more people? And the guy's like, no. And he screams out to the guys like, yo, could you turn off the lights? What are y'all doing? And it's just a bunch of white men wearing monster masks. And the guy sees this, tells the woman to get behind him. And we see the fear. And then we see we see the fear in the couple's eyes, and we see the monster masks. And that's how the episode ended. It didn't even have ending music. Wait till you hear about the next episodes. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do as you deem fit. Remember to question everything except your instincts, and I'll be sure to catch you on the flips.